Welcome to the Whitney Preview for Furlongs and Horses. My name is Rachel, and I'm your host. You can find me at either my Furlong Drive blog, which is at furlongdrive.blogspot.com, or the Road to the Cup blog, which can be found at roadtothecup.blogspot.com. And I will have a link in the down bar to today's post, which is about the Whitney Handicap, which will be held on Saturday at Saratoga. This is a win you're in for the Classic at a mile and an eighth. And before we look at the field, I just have a couple of housekeeping. Next week, there is a win you're in, but it's in Europe, so I will not be able to do a preview on that, but there might be a written preview, there might not be. The race is in France, and I don't think Racing Post, which is basically the European version of Equipace, and Blood Horse, because they also do articles. I don't think they do many France cards. They're mainly English cards. So if they post a link to this winning you're in for France, I will do a written preview, but I will not be doing a video of it. Second thing is that I think I forgot to mention who won the Bing Crosby in my West Virginia Derby preview, which is already out of date. And Big Mocker defeated Golden Sense in that race. So he has a automatic entry into the turf sprint, but he's probably going to go in the sprint instead. The reason why it was for the turf sprint, it was because Del Mar has a synthetic surface. As for Golden Sense, no harm, no foul. He was closing pretty well after going wide. Should suit him well for the Pat O'Brien if that's where he's going next. And then Santa Anita Sprint Championship, and then he'll be ready for his dirt mile defense. Although there'll be possibly some really nice horses going in that race. So he might be up against it this year in his defense, but it shouldn't be a major deal. And actually, a horse who is already qualified for the dirt mile will be going into this year's Whitney. There are 8 other horses who will be facing him. So let's go ahead and take a look at this year's Whitney field. Number 1 is Will Take Charge. He's by Unbridled Song, and Luis Saez will ride for D. Wayne Lucas. In his last 2 races, he was 6th in the Ali Sheba and 2nd in the Stephen Foster in his last, both which were at Churchill Downs. He's won the Whitney Handicap this year, and he's also run 2nd in the Don and the Big Cap. Of course, he won the Travelers here at Saratoga last year, and he was runner-up in the Jim Dandy, runner-up in the Classic, won the Clark, which helped him become 3-year-old champion male. Has a good chance to win. Matter of fact, he's one of 2 horses who I think have a good chance to win this race, actually a great chance to win. And I will be talking about that horse in a little bit. I just feel like with his running style, he'll be coming from just off the pace anyway. He can pass horses in a second. It would not surprise me if he wins, but it also would not be surprised me if he runs up track. I don't think he will run up track. I think he will be in the top 4, so he will hit the board. I have him finishing no worse than 5th in this race. Of course, as he's shown in the Ali Sheba, he can finish poorly. Even though this is a very good field, I just feel like this is a type of race where he will not finish poorly. Number 2 is Prayer for Relief. He's by Jumpstart. Joel Rosario will ride for Dale Romans. He was 3rd in the Suburban, and he won the Pimlico Special last year, but he's been in and out of the top 4 in his last 8 starts. This is his first try at Saratoga, and I just feel like that he's a horse who's gonna stay with his current form and run poorly. He could surprise me, but I can't see it. Not with this field. And also, I believe, is the oldest horse in the field. The rest of these horses are 4 or 5, and I think he's 6. But I don't have all their ages ahead of me. He might be 5. I'm pretty sure he's 6. But yeah, I feel like that he is going to be the longest shot on the board, and he is just not going to run well based on his current form. Number 3 is Moreno. He's by Ghost Zapper. Junior Alvarado will ride for Eric Yo. This is the first time since last year's Classic that Moreno is going against his nemesis, Will Take Charge. Now, this is a one-side rivalry with Will Take Charge finishing in front or winning all of their races against each other. He was 3rd in Jim Dandy, runner-up in the Travelers. That Travelers ended up having a little bit of controversy. Turned out to be not a problem, but still 2nd in the PA Derby. In his last, he was 2nd in the Suburban, and he will be up on the front end because he does have some early speed. So that if he gets into a speed though, that will help the closers. But I believe he might be the lone speed here. I think there is one other horse in here that has early speed. Just quickly going over. Yeah, I think there is one other horse who I'll talk about in a few minutes who has early speed. But I think Moreno is the type who will, if he gets challenged, will fade. And if he does get challenged, I can't see him being able to hold on this time, just from his past. I think earlier this year he tried to challenge Game On Dude in the Charlestown Classic, and it cost him pretty dearly. Also, a mile and 1/8 might be a little bit short for him, but he ran well here at a mile and 1/8 last year in the Jim Dandy, so it should not be a huge problem. Number 4 is It's My Lucky Day. He's by Lawyer Ron. Paco Lopez will ride for Eddie Plisa. And he is a horse who would have raced at Saratoga last year if it wasn't due to an injury in the Pegasus at Monmouth. He was injured in that race. Since his return from injury, he is 3 for 4. All of them have been in stakes races. Won the Salvador Mile in his last. As I said, he makes his Saratoga debut here, and this is his first try at Grade 1 company since his run-up finish to Oxbow in the Preakness. I don't know, only because he was definitely one of the top horses last year for 3-year-olds, and he's slowly but surely making that move back up to top quality races with starting here in the Whitney. I believe he is a little bit, just a tiny step lower than Will Take Charge, Palace Malice, and of course when you add in the 3-year-olds Tunnelist, California Chrome, Wicked Strong, Shared Belief, when you add in those horses, even the 3-year-olds are just a tiny step ahead of him. I believe he will run well here. I'm going to say probably about 4th or 5th. But it would not be surprising to me if he were to hit the board. I don't think he's going to win. But I do think he will run very well here. Number 5 is the horse that everyone is trying to beat, and that is Palace Malice. He's by Curlin. John Velasquez will ride for Todd Pletcher. Undefeated this year. He's won at Gulfstream. He's won at Fairgrounds. He won the Met Mile in his last, so he's already won a win and you're in for the Dirt Mile. So if he were to win the Whitney, they have options for the rest of the year. If he can't get a 1.25 miles, even though he won the Belmont, he's probably more of a mile and 1/8 horse. But he ran well on a 1.25 miles last year when he was 4th in the Travelers, and then he was the runner-up in the Jockey Gold Cup. Other than his Jim Dandy win here last year, he did break his maiden at Saratoga. He is definitely going to be in my top 4. If Johnny V rides his race, he will win probably by a good margin, and I'll talk about that more in my picks. But if he's challenged, he might not win as much. So we'll just have to see how well he runs here and if he can live up to his current NTRA poll ranking of number 1. So we'll just have to see about that. Number 6 is Departing. He's by Warfront. Robbie Alvarado will ride for Al Stahl. 3rd in Stephen Foster. And then before that, he won an allowance optional claimer. Last year, he was a horse who was coming in with a lot of promise. He won the Illinois Derby, and then he went to the Preakness, faced his old pasture mate, Orb. Of course, the Derby winner. Neither of them ran particularly well in that race. They both lost to Oxbow in the Preakness. He just needs to really finish the job. And I'm hoping that possibly this is the race where everything comes together for him and he crosses the wire first. I really would love for him to win. He's not my pick to win the race, but I just feel like I will be very happy if he were to cross the wire first. And I believe he also has a little bit of early speed, but he's more tactical than Moreno. I think Moreno needs the lead in order to win, whereas I think Departing really does not need the lead to win the race. Number 7 is Romanche. He's by Bernardini. Jose Ortiz will ride for Tom Alpatrani. He actually, like Moreno, came on the scene last year. Later, the other 4-year-olds who I've already talked about ran in the Triple Crown. Moreno and Romanche did not. He was 5th in the Travelers. He actually crossed the wire 2nd in the Curlin, but was elevated the 1st via DQ. 6th in the PA Derby to Will Take Charge. So he's already lost twice to Will Take Charge. He also won the Discovery last year. This year he's won the Excelsior, 3rd in the Met Mile, and 5th in the Suburban. I think he's a horse like Prayer for Relief that's up against it. He's probably more of a dirt mile candidate than a classic candidate, just the fact that he did not run well in the Suburban to Zevo, who is not in this race. I can't see him being anywhere near the top 3. And he's gonna have to run the race of his life if he were to win this year's Whitney, just the fact with all the talent that's in this year's race. Number 8 is Golden Ticket. He's by Speightstown. Julian Leperoux will ride for Kenny McPeak. And before I get to his Saratoga experience, he's not had the best of luck since he was a 3-year-old. He's won a couple of races, smaller stakes, but he really hasn't found that 3-year-old form. He was runner-up in last year's Dirt Mile, 2 Golden Cents, 4th in the Cornhusker in his last, and he was runner-up in the Aoshima. He did not run well in the Stephen Foster. He was 5th as the defending runner-up. That being said, he has run well at Saratoga, and that is highlighted by his finish, his co-win in the 2012 Travelers with Alpha. Of course, Alpha last year won the Woodward on a sloppy track, defeating Painter. I forget who else was in that field, but I know a couple of horses were scratched due to injury or the wet track. I know Mucho Macho Man was scratched from that race, so Alpha won the Woodward and Travelers, and of course that Travelers was co-won with Golden Ticket. Unfortunately, like on 2 other horses in this race, and then the last horse I'll be talking about, just the fact that without this field, he would have he would have a great chance. But with this field, I can't see it happening. With Departing, he's a horse who I would love to see win. I can't see him winning here. And number 9, last but certainly not least, is Last Gunfighter. He's by First Samurai, and Javier Castellano will ride for Chad Brown, 9th in the Suburban. That is a big reason why I don't think he will do well here. And it was 9th to Stalemate Zevo, who is going to the Woodward at the end of Saratoga's meet. 5th in the Jockey Club, Gold Cup, and Classic last year. He won the Pimlico Special, So a mile and a quarter really shouldn't, at a grade 3 level, won't be a problem. Won the Mountain View in his season debut, and this is going to be his Saratoga debut as well. All the other horses have, except for Preferred Relief, have Saratoga experience. I think also It's My Lucky Day is making Saratoga debut, but I could be wrong. He might have started here as a 2-year-old. I just feel like that he is, so getting back to the Last Gunfighter, I think everything has to go his way in order for him to win. And I'm not sure if it's going to happen in this race. But stranger things can happen, and that is why they call it racing. So up next will be my picks. So for my picks, in first I have Palace Mouse. I just feel like that there won't be any horse, except for maybe the horse that I have finishing second, that can beat him in this race. He's by far the best horse in training, regardless of sex and age. Of course, there might be some who say Wyatt Stan might be better, but he is coming off colic, and so we don't know what to expect really out of him. If Johnny V sits like he will, he should draw off and win. Not by a lot, maybe by 2, maybe 2.5. But if we get a close finish, that might help my pick for the runner-up spot, which is Will Take Charge. He is the horse who I think has the best chance to pull a minor upset on Palace Malice. Of course, you might get in horses like It's My Lucky Day or Moreno, who's also run well here. But I just feel like he is basically the best of the rest. And in third, I have Departing. And the reason I have Departing over several other horses is that I just feel like that I don't know what to expect out of Golden Ticket as much as I love Golden Ticket. Moreno will probably run well just from, as I said, his past experience. And it's going to be a fun race. But my dark horse, who is a horse who I think will do well and has a good chance, but not really a great chance, to upset Palace Malice, is Moreno. And I'm picking him just for the fact that he ran excellent last year in the Travelers over Golden Ticket, because Golden Ticket has been up and down, as I said with my preview of him, since his co-travelers win. So that is the preview for the Whitney. I'm hoping to have a preview on the Hirsch, which is the other winning you're in this weekend, but it's more likely there will not be one. There will not be a Breeders' Cup Memories post this weekend. For those who follow the Road to the Cup, know that on Saturday I usually post a BC Memories. Due to a lack of time, I'm just gonna skip it this week. It will return next week, though. I think people will enjoy it. So I hope everybody has a good weekend. Safe travels to all the horses and jockeys. And I will back earlier early next week with a recap and a preview of another stakes race, which won't be a win and you're in. But I haven't decided what race it will be yet. So until then, bye.